Hey, what's up, guys? It's Ricky Taylor with Accelerated Training, and what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you six different ways to deal with hunger while you're dieting. So while you're trying to drop those pounds and lose some fat, we're going to look at six different things that you can do that won't sabotage your results, but will also help you deal with your hunger. That way you won't be starving the whole duration. So check it out. Let me know how you like it. And any questions, just shoot them to me. Thanks. Okay, so here it is. 6 ways to handle hunger while dieting. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to check out 6 different strategies that you can implement, to which you can use to handle your appetite so that you won't end up like the guy in the picture once you're dieting and start eating the wrong things and just sabotage all the hard work that you put in. So controlling your hunger is probably the biggest issue when it comes to sticking to a diet. So we're going to cover 6 ways that you can implement, real easy ways that will that'll satisfy you, and at the same time it won't sabotage your results. All right, so let's go to the first one, which is bam, eat more protein. When you're dieting, when I speak of diet, I'm basically meaning when you're eating less food or when you're in a caloric deficit. One of the non-negotiable things for best results, that is increasing your protein. Increasing your protein is very important in terms of maintaining your muscle mass. See, when you're dieting and your body is breaking down your fat for energy, it also has a tendency to break down some of the muscle, which is what we don't want. And so increasing your protein intake in that regards is a major benefit. But in reference to what we're talking about here, as far as handling hunger, another major benefit of protein is that it's very satisfying to the appetite, right? So you won't feel as full as you would be after you eaten protein as you would carbs or fat. So protein has a very great effect on your appetite. And not only that, once you consume it and it's digesting, protein has to go to a great process to break down, and in return your body has to use some energy, aka calories, to help break that down. So basically also when you're eating protein, your body is burning extra calories just to break that down. So definitely increase your protein. What you want to do is opt for the higher protein foods. So we got a list of here's some things. Skinless chicken. I put skinless because, like we say, if you're dieting and you're eating less calories, the fat, the skin from the chicken, that can add up big time. So let's go with skinless. Skinless chicken. Chicken has a lot of protein. Lean beef, egg whites, fish, things like salmon, tuna, cod, roughy, etc. Especially whitefish. Those would be the less fatty fish, but fish is a great source of protein. Drop down to dairy. I like to go for low-fat dairy again for the so you won't get the extra calories. Things like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, string cheese, whey, which is basically your protein powder, etc., etc. Turkey, bison, and then if you're vegetarian, there's also some great vegetarian or vegan sources of protein out there. Things like hemp protein powder, brown rice protein powder is a good one. I actually use some of that. Pea protein powder, and this last one right here is called amaranth, which is it's a grain that's real popular down in South America and Central America. It hasn't got it really popular here in the States yet, but it's basically the basic serving of it contains about, I think, 26 grams of protein, which is pretty high for a grain, and it contains basically all your major amino acids excuse me, that animal protein source would have. So yeah, check that out. Try new things. You can find it in places like Publix or Whole Foods Foods, Trader Joe's, places like that. So that's a new thing to add to you. Let's keep going. Let's go to the second one, which is eat fruit. Now, for some reason, fruit has gotten like a bad rap when people are dieting. And mainly the reason is because, the reason they give is because the sugar content. Well, what we have to break down is what kind of sugar does fruit have? And the main sugar that's in fruit is fructose. Fructose is what would be considered as a monosaccharide. Monosaccharide is basically mean one sugar, aka a simple carbs. And so the main sugar in fruit is fructose. And the way fructose reacts in the body is an interesting way. Well, first of all, once you consume the fruit and it breaks down the fructose, the sugar in it, it's processed mainly in the liver. And so once you eat the fruit and the food is breaking down in your stomach and the nutrients are being absorbed, the first place that it goes to is your liver. And the liver basically turns the fructose into glucose, which is aka blood sugar. And then the rest of it stores as glycogen. So that's the main thing. Now we're going into the appetite benefit of it. Usually when you're dieting, especially you're going to be eating lesser carbs. And so when you're eating lesser carbs, your glycogen is basically the storage form of carbohydrates in your body. It's mainly located in your liver and also in your muscles. And so if you're not, when you're doing low carb, these stores sort of get low and they go down. And as a result, especially with the liver glycogen, when the glycogen stores in your liver start to get low, the liver sends signal to the brain that you're hungry. You don't necessarily need it, but you still have the feeling that you're hungry. And so the big benefit of fruit is that the fructose in it helps refill the glycogen stores in your liver. Because like we said, fructose is mainly dealt with in the liver. And so once you consume it and your body stores the fructose, well, it turns it into glucose and then stores it as glycogen. This helps satisfy your appetite. And so, like we say again, once you're on a diet, you're going to be consuming less calories. So I just gave you a list of some fruits that should be pretty low cal, where you won't have to worry about eating too much. But you can eat a wider range, but these are the fruits that have the least fructose or sugar content. So we got grapefruit, nectarines, apricots, love those, berries, all berries, blackberries, cranberries, raspberries, strawberries, blueberries, things like that, pineapple, clementines. I think I think those brands are called Cuties, I believe. Honeydew melon, peaches, kiwis, plums, watermelon, cherries. All those things are great. Those would be a great source of fructose that you can snack on to where to a point where you won't have to worry about eating too many calories. So number 3, the third option you have to help control your hunger once you're dieting is eat more fiber. Fiber is pretty basically in the category of its own, apart from protein, fat, and carbs. It's closer to carbs, but it's in its own category. Another thing about fiber is that it's essential. It's an essential nutrient. You can live without fiber. There are many groups of indigenous people around the world who have a zero fiber diet, but you still can eat it, and once you eat it, I mean, it has great benefits in your side, the body. But the major benefit, what we're talking about here, is that it slows the digestion. So basically how fiber goes, there's different kind of fibers. The main kind of fiber is the one that what you would call water soluble. So basically it's absorbed in water. So when you consume fiber rich foods and it goes down in the stomach, when it starts to break down chemically, basically what the fiber does, it reacts to the water that you have in your stomach and basically thickens it. And what that does, that slows down the emptying of your stomach, so the food stays in your stomach longer, and then you feel fuller and you won't have to eat so often. But some great sources of fiber. We got fiber is in almost all produce, but I just listed some of the higher sources of fiber right here. So we got pears, broccoli, apples, beans probably have the most overall, peas, peanuts, carrots. Go into some grains. The best kinds would be quinoa, and then chia seeds. Chia seeds packed with fiber. Right. So if you want to supplement, some of the best supplements, there's a substance called glucomannan. Right. And we're going to touch on it again a little later on another tip. But basically, what glucomannan is, it comes from a root of a plant, and it's according to science. So what humans have discovered is like probably the strongest fiber source that they come across. And like we said earlier, how the fiber gets into your stomach and it sort of thickens the water that's in it. That's basically what the glucomannan is. You can get it at different vitamin shops, health food stores. You can even grab it on Amazon.com. But once you consume that, it's usually taken before you eat. And once you consume it and it's digested and it's dissolved in your stomach, it slows the emptying of the food out of the stomach into your lower intestines, which helps control your appetite. Just don't get sidetracked. Once you look it up, it has a bunch of crazy weight loss miracle claims to it, but all it is basically a good source of fiber. The second good one, I'll just put a popular one right here that most people know of, is Metamucil. You'll want to get the psyllium husk kind, which is a great source of fiber. All right, so let's go to the next one, which is eat enough fat. Keyword on enough. Like we said earlier, fat tends to carry a lot of calories with it, and so we don't want to eat over. We don't want to go overboard with it, but we want to make sure that we're eating enough. And that fat almost works in the same way in the stomach as fiber does. And that the fat helps your food sit in your gut a little longer. And then once you eat it, when it hits your taste buds and whatnot, it's also more satisfying. When many people were doing those real low-fat diets back in the day, I don't think many people do them anymore since they've been debunked. But when they were doing those a lot, they was basically eating almost zero fat. A lot of times when they started on them, they would fail because they would get hungry, eating salad and lean everything else, and they just wasn't getting satisfied as far as their appetite or whatnot. And when you're on the diet, a great thing to do, especially like if you're eating a salad or something, is add a little bit of fat to it. It'll make the meal more satisfying. It'll sit in your stomach longer, so your stomach won't empty out too fast, and that will help control your appetite. So we got a picture here, basically some good sources. Basically said it all: avocados, olives, olive oil, nuts, coconut. We got butter back there, real butter, not the margarine. But again, also to just be sure to be mindful of the calories. A little bit of fat will go a long way as far as hiking up your caloric intake. All right. So the next one is appetite suppressants. So basically, there are two different kind of diet pills out there. You got one, either messes with your metabolism, your metabolic rate, or the other one either is an appetite suppressant. Now, the things that alter your metabolic rate, I say stay away from those things. They're harmful and they just won't do you any good. Appetite suppressants, there are some good ones out there, which we're going to list out here. Some natural kind that come straight from nature, and then there are some bad kind. And so the first one that we got here is glucomannan, which we talked about earlier. You can get this in capsule form, and you can also get it in a straight powder form, like we say, different vitamin shops, Amazon, online. You can find it in there. Google it. Best way to eat that is, like we say, do it before your meal. The history of it, as it's used in indigenous culture, and was used in indigenous culture. They would use it as a meal thickener, and it mainly became real popular during times of famines. When they knew they didn't have enough food, they would take this glucomannan, which comes from a root of a plant, and they would add it to their meals, the stews and whatnot, to make it more filling, and that would help control their appetite when they didn't have enough food. So it's a good healthy option to go. If you get it, start small with it, monitor yourself, and then you just go from there. So another one that we have here is called Slimma Luma. Now, Slimma Luma is basically the commercial name for a plant called the Caralluma fimbriata. I think that's how you say it. The Caralluma fimbriata is a plant related to the cactus plant, and it's similar to that. It also was used as a famine food. So you can grab the Slimma Luma anywhere. Just again, be mindful. Just ignore all the crazy weight loss claims for it. It basically helps blunt your appetite and whatnot. Another one, which is famous several years ago, I haven't heard much about it lately, as far as from people or in the media, but Hoodia. Hoodia is it was used as a famine food, but especially it was used for when the men of the tribe, when they would go out to hunt, they would be gone for several days or weeks at a time, and during this time they didn't have anything to eat. So before they would leave to hunt, they would eat a lot of food right before they left, and then they would consume this Hoodia, which also comes from another cactus-like plant. And this Hoodia would help maintain their appetite, so they won't be have the starving feeling while they're out several days without food. The thing with Hoodia, if you choose to go this route, take it, is that in some people it has a tendency to raise their blood pressure and increase their heart palpitation. And so be mindful of that. I mean, if you take it and your heart starts beating too fast, it doesn't have that reaction in everybody, but studies have shown that it has that reaction in other people. But if you choose to take that, be mindful of it. But overall, it's a pretty good thing, and it's effective. Now, the sixth and final, and probably in my opinion, I would say the most important strategy out of all of them that we've discussed, is self-discipline. Right? So after you've eaten your protein, you got your food in, you increase your fiber intake, had some fat, maybe even went the appetite suppressant route, the one thing that's going to trump all of that and make all of that stick is self-discipline and willpower. Right? So you may be in the situations where you can't eat more protein, or you don't have any fruit on hand, or can't eat any fiber or whatnot. What are you gonna do if you're at an office party and they order a bunch of pizzas and cakes and all these things that have sabotaged your diet? You gotta have willpower, you gotta have self-control, and you have to be disciplined in what you're doing. when you're dieting, you're eating less calories, you're eating less food, and as a result of that, naturally you will, especially in the beginning, get hungry. And so having that willpower, remembering why you're doing what you're doing, and keeping the end goal in mind, that'll keep you disciplined, and that'll help you from going in temptation and just eating up everything in sight that you've been craving and whatnot. So there they are, 6 strategies you can take right now and implement. If you have any questions, comments, or anything regarding the presentation, just let me know below. And I'm always here. Thanks for watching.